Welcome to Everything Life and Real Estate. Let's get started with our hosts, Linda McKissack and Dana Gentry.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Everything Life and Real Estate. I'm Linda McKissack.
And I'm Dana Gentry.
Hey, Dana. So mega camp just happened.
Yes.
I don't know about you, but I always say best one ever.
I mean, honestly, Linda, I have talked to so many people. The content this year was so rich, just amazing content. I mean, I didn't hear one speaker that I thought they were so-so. I mean, literally not one.
Yeah. When I had people say I could leave after the CEO event and got my money's worth.
Totally.
So that's what we're going to talk about today.
Although, I don't know. I liked Marcus Sheridan, so we'll have to come back and do a whole nother one on the AI stuff. But yes, the CEOs and Sahil Bloom. I mean, there was just, so many great wins.
Yeah. I was texting my friends that weren't with KW slides and tips and all kinds of things. So yeah, it's where you wished you'd brought other people with you.
Totally. I know. Totally.
All right. So we'll kick it off. We'll talk a little bit about, I think it was the best CEO event also. Every single speaker could stand alone and be the best speaker.
Totally agree. And I loved seeing, I'm so glad you got to meet her in person too. They kicked off with Liz Bohannon, and I know her through my high capacity mastermind, and she's just like such a light. She's so sweet, and what she's done through community is incredible.
Yeah, that was amazing. Well, and gosh, you've got some amazing people in your high capacity leadership, because didn't you say Ryan Leake was there also?
He's a mentor. So he's like, he doesn't come to all the events, but he's considered a mentor. So he speaks to us like at least once a year, maybe twice a year. And then we'll come to like one of the kickoffs. But yeah, it's great. It's so good.
That's awesome. Okay, so let's talk about Liz's section first. Kind of what are some of the things that stood out to you about, because was Liz first? Yeah, Liz was first, right?
Liz was first, yeah, and hers is kind of all about community. And I will say the one thing that I've heard that before, but this time there were two things that I really got. No wonder I can't see. I don't have my glasses on. I'm like, why is everything blurry? Oh yeah.
Do it.
Oh, much better. Okay, here we go. One thing I love that let me back up. My favorite thing that she does is the fear exercise that she did at the end.
Oh gosh.
And she did that in our mastermind, like in person, Linda. And this was so crazy. So I love how she did it there with a QR code, but I'll tell you what she did in our group. And it's kind of the same thing, but it was to me a little bit more powerful. But she asks you to write down, in this situation, she asked us to type it into an anonymous QR code app. So it came up on the screen, but she asked you to write down like your biggest fear or like secret that you have that you don't want other people to know, or like limiting belief that holds you back, or like something that keeps you up at night or whatever. And in our group, she asked us to write it down on a piece of paper. And then she said, I just want you to trust me. I know you don't know me, but just trust me. And she said, write it down, fold it up. And now she said, hand it to the person at your left. And everybody was like, oh my gosh. And then she said, okay, everybody take a deep breath. And she said, now I want everybody to stand up. And we were like, she's going to make us read them out loud. Like we were freaking out.
Oh gosh.
But then she said, I want you to walk around the room and switch the paper 15 times. So it was like, there was no way you could keep up with who had what or anything. Cause there was probably, 100 people in the room. Yeah. But with this one, she said to put it on your app. What the things that came up, like for one, my aha was we never, like all of us have something and we don't ever talk about it, or like it just holds us back. Yes. And the fact that she had everyone do that, and then to see the things that were rolling across the screen were like, I'm afraid my cancer's coming back. I have back taxes. I'm worried that I'm, financially going to lose it all. Or like, I don't have a good relationship with my kids, like whatever it was. And it was like thing after thing after thing. And I love that she did that. But then also the aha from that was she said, like, find a good peer group, but they need to be equal to equal peers, like not people that you lead, but equal to equal peers that you can really just walk through and share some of those things and learn from. And I just don't think we do that enough. I think it's like, I don't know if it's ego or just we're scared, or, I mean, I'm right there. So I don't know, but it's just like, it was powerful.
I'm curious, Dana, how of the time before when you did that exercise and this time, Were the fears different or the same?
They were pretty, I mean, I don't know because we only on this event, we got to see all of them on the screen. On the other one, she only had 10 people stand up and read the one that they had out loud that they ended up with. But the ones that were read versus the one, I mean, it was a lot of money worry, health worry, a lot of relationship struggles, a lot of relationship struggles. I remember somebody said, I worry that I've now that I didn't spend the time with my kids that I should have, and now it's too late, or just things like that. I feel like they're all money, health, or relational kind of.
Oh, that's amazing. Well, I had said I wished we could, as leaders, have those statistics. No names, of course, by them.
Yes.
But what percent was about finances? What the reason I say that is there's what we need to be helping our people with.
Totally.
Everything that came up there, we need a community or something that is working on that area of people's fears or, concerns or whatever. Because I couldn't look at it fast enough and see what all was scrolling.
Yeah, I know.
But I would have loved to seen that on a statistical sheet that says, out of the 300, 400 people, whatever was there, this many said this many said that. That would have been so valuable as a leader to know.
I think I'll ask her that and just see if there's any way that because I mean, that would be great. That's such a great point, Linda. That would be so good for people to, I mean, I don't know because gosh, I mean, it's probably what we think that some of them are, but it would be good to have the stats.
Yeah. And she had some kind of stat that said 97% of entrepreneurs, 90% are alone and not supported.
Yeah.
And I think being an entrepreneur is a lonely place. And, back to your point about a place where people could talk about their vulnerabilities a little bit. I remember, one of my toughest times when I was feeling so alone, and I'm pretty much okay being alone a lot of the time.
Yeah.
But in the region when I was building it, and I just thought, who can I call? Because I'm leading everybody. I can't tell any of the people I'm leading how I'm feeling. And that I picked up the phone and called another leader who was working to do the same thing I was doing in a different territory. And I just said, I have to be honest. For the first time in my life, I've thought about quitting.
Yeah.
And I just don't quit. I'm like a dog with a bone.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget what he said to me. You can't quit because you never know if you're on the 50-yard line or the 5-yard line. Yeah. So sometimes having a person or somebody that can look through their lens and help you see it differently could be one of the most valuable things that happens to you in your life.
Yeah, I totally agree. That's what, okay, here's what she said. I'm trying to go back and forth between my notes and my phone because I was taking pictures of the slides and I haven't typed them up yet, but she put up a slide that kind of goes with that. And she said, when we share our joy, it multiplies. When we share our burdens, the weight divides. Meaning, and that's what you did. You shared your burden with him, and then the weight kind of divided out and you felt lighter.
Yeah. Yeah. So good. And I loved her acronym of RICH.
Yes.
For, well, she led off with the epidemic of loneliness in 2023. So I can only imagine that each year it gets worse and worse because we're more socially connected and less physically connected.
Yeah. We won't give away too much of hers because she agreed to come on the podcast. So we've got to get her on the podcast.
Good thinking. Well, I think the main thing is just to understand. And I remember years ago, Gary telling me this and it always stuck with me. We need people more than they need us.
Yeah.
And so just always kind of keeping that forefront in your mind.
Yeah.
And understanding. And what's funny is when she described community, we had brought Nick with us, which is Press's, friend from 3 years old. And he said, oh, she just described a home group.
Yes.
I thought, she did, honestly.
Yeah.
He said, that's what you have a home group for.
Yeah.
But I think the only difference is, like what she's doing, living in a community of people, they handpicked those.
Yeah.
Instead of just kind of random.
Yeah, because for those of you that don't know her story, and again, we'll have her on to talk about it because it's so good, but she basically bought one lot with 2 or 3 of her closest friends and their families, and they made it into I mean, there's 3 or 4 different houses, but they all share the backyard and the driveways and the everything. And she posts a lot on Instagram, and she'll say like, what would keep you from doing that? And I'm like, I would be afraid I'd get sick of them or, it's like too much in your space all the time. But like, she's using all that research to work on like the opposite of those feelings.
Well, and I remember years ago when we were in Dr. Fred Gross's group, and he was, working with the top 1% in the industry as far as sales goes. And he said, he talked about having a place where you can have community with those kinds of people, because no one else is going to want to listen to your stories at some point, right?
Yeah.
But also, if you think about the book Atlas Shrugged, if anybody's ever read that, that talked years in the 40s, I think, even about having a place where people who had the same interest and the same common dreams and goals could live in a community or be together. And I remember we were talking about that in Dr. Fred Gross one time, and Tony DeCello said, oh, wouldn't it be amazing? Because we were top 1/4% of sales in real estate.
Yep.
And none of us were at the same company.
Yeah.
And he said, oh my gosh, wouldn't it be amazing if we could all be at the same place? And we're like, oh yeah, right, Tony, that could never happen. And along came Keller Williams, and it gave us an opportunity to all be at the same place.
And then look on the growth and what happened.
Yeah. So pretty interesting. So then we had Gary always brings in somebody with health, which I love. Josh, I think it's Axe.
Yes, and I love him. I have followed his journey for so long. Oh my gosh, he is so good. In fact, I ordered it, and it's supposed to be here today. But I hadn't read that one book, and being as my gut stuff is going on still. Let's see, where is it? It's supposed to be here today. Eat Dirt.
Yeah.
I think that's what it's called. He said that's like a book, I guess. He said if you struggle with gut issues, everyone needs to read that. And I had not heard of it. Eat Dirt. That's it. But he was
the thing
awesome.
I think the one thing I loved about him, Dana, was most come on and say, oh, you should eat this way. Oh, you should eat paleo. Oh, you should eat
carnivore.
Oh, you should eat this. And a carnivore, whatever, vegan, vegetarian. And the truth is, through my own discovery, have learned everybody is unique and different. So I've tried when someone said, oh, this worked for me, and I've done that. And it's like, okay, it's not working for me. Why is it not working for me? So I really do believe in the fact that he says each individual has to figure out what is the best diet and what foods they can and can't consume.
Yeah. What works for them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, totally. I loved that part about him. I mean, I had so many notes from him. Oh my gosh, and so many pictures. I guess the first was he said that there's really only 4 keys to healing and longevity. And it's number 1, reducing the toxins that, come into your body. In fact, I just dropped Amelia off. I had to rush over and pick her up. She had a private for tennis, and she needed to go to school. And so Addison couldn't take her. So I rushed over, and I noticed when I pulled in the parking lot that he had stopped and gotten some of those Christmas tree air fresheners that hang in his rearview mirror.
Oh gosh.
And I just read this article about how they have like a gazillion toxin chemicals in them. So I'm like, as soon as he gets home from school today, I'm ripping that out and putting an organic one in there. But reduce the toxins, optimize your nutrients, increase cellular energy, and then exactly what you just said, number 4 was personalize your diet and your medicine. And the sad thing, you and I have talked about this so many times on the podcast, but the sad thing for us in this country, I mean, it's expensive. I mean, it's not what regular insurance, a lot of this stuff is not what is regularly covered. And so you have to find somebody and, all the things.
And, I think it takes a certain level of courage, because here's a really good example of this.
Yep.
I've been saying to people, I'm allergic to seed oils.
Yeah.
So could you do that in butter? And it's so funny because Press and I, Press is the kindest human on earth.
Yes.
I swear to God, he is the most selfless person I know. And I'm not just saying that because he's my son. He really is.
Yeah.
And, I've learned over the years, you have to ask for what you want. And so it kind of goes in with what Liz said, and it kind of goes in with this. But I said to the guy that was making us an omelet that day, I said, look, I can't do seed oils. Could you do my omelet in butter? And he looks like, oh my gosh. And you could, it's like, oh, like, how do I do that? I don't have any butter. I mean, you could just see his brain popping out all these things. And I just sat in silence, and he went back to the back and he found me some butter, and he did mine in butter. And I just said, thank you so much. And then when press was up, I said, he was wanting to tell him the same thing. Well, the minute the guy looked like, uh-oh, I don't have any more butter. He's thinking that. Press is like, oh, no, that's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay. I said, Press, you can't do that. So at the end, of course, I gave him a good tip. And at the end, he was so happy because, like what Liz teaches, when you let someone do a favor for you, you give them a gift.
Yeah, so true.
And so he was just beaming from ear to ear that he had accomplished that, and it was so important. And I said, see, Press, I didn't do anything to him. I did something for him.
Yeah,
I
allowed
him to do something that was important to me. But Press was struggling. I don't know if he I think he did wind up getting his done in butter. I think the guy finally realized, okay, there's more butter back there where I got this butter. I'm going to go get the butter,
But it truly does. One thing I've noticed is it does make a difference. Like, why settle and feel like crap for the rest of the day? Yeah. I mean, we did the same thing last night at dinner for our anniversary. I'm like, I'm so sorry, but I cannot have that cooked in like anything. Can you just, and because I just knew I would feel like crap the rest of the night.
Well, and same thing at the conference. Wednesday, the lady, I said, look, I really need him to cook my steak in butter.
Yeah.
And I don't, want anything else on it. I just want butter and salt. That's fine. So the chef comes out and he goes, oh, I just want to make sure. And I said, oh, absolutely. Yes. Just do it in butter. I can't do any seed oils. And he's like, okay, I got it. I just want to make sure. But, I think the more we do that too, the more they're going to realize I have to have an alternative on hand besides seed oils.
Before we know it, we'll be like, excuse me, do you have beef? We need ours cooked in beef tallow, please.
Yes. I am seeking out the burger restaurants that do beef tallow. I definitely am going to support them as much as I possibly can.
This is a total squirrel, and I do have some tactical things from him I want to share. But last night at the place we went to dinner for our anniversary in Charleston called Marbled and Finn, it's newer-ish, and it is just, oh my gosh, it's like my absolute favorite. It is so good. And afterwards, I had Australian Wagyu filet, and it was like, I mean, just out of this world, like best steak I've ever had. But then at the very end, we didn't get dessert because we were so full, but he brought us these 2 little pieces of caramel. And he said, this is just to give you a last dessert taste or something like that. And he said, just so you know, the caramel that we make, instead of using butter to make the caramel, we use the tallow from the beef. They were so good. I was oh my gosh, how do we figure out how to, like the best piece of little caramel I've ever had.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
But it was with that beef tallow. But a couple of things that he said that I wrote down, one was very convicting for me, but the first, so the other one was, he said, look at you can see the colors of food. I never thought about that. So like, for instance, he said things that are usually good for your heart are red. So like beef or whatever. He said for your immunity, they're yellow. So like broth and, chicken broth, or like, anything, like he gave the color list, which I couldn't write them down fast enough. So I have that in my notes to go back and look those up, because he said at that point, you're kind of like feeding your digestive tract with the stuff that naturally you're supposed to have, which I thought was really good. He also said that we need to be shopping at local farmers markets more, which I was like, man, there's one right down the street. And I never think about it. Because we know that, that's got to be whatever. And then the other thing that he said, like filtered water, obviously we already kind of do that. Only grass fed, we already do that. Switch to non-toxic products, which is like a whole spiral once you start. But
your girl had a list at one time that was really good.
Amy McDahlia. Yep. And I need to send it to you because she did an updated one and I have it. I'll have to share that to you. But here was the other thing. And this was one that was kind of convicting to me, because I started thinking about this and I was like, okay, wow. He said, deal with your childhood. Good and bad things. He said, write all of it down, write anything down that could still bother you today about your life. Like, it doesn't have to be your childhood, but just like previously. And then he said, like, deal with it, because anything that you have like that, that's inside of you, what did he say? He said, I mean, he's just said it's not good. Like, you don't need that inside of your body or something like that. I can't remember the why behind it, but I remember writing that down. I'll have to go back and watch it. And then the other thing he said, Linda, I thought was, he said the Japanese have over 95,000 centennials now. I think that's what it's called, where people live to be over 100 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And he said that he studied it. And he said it's, biblically and science shows that we were actually made to live 120 years old. And he said that in Asia, they take every day, it's just customary for them to take a 2-hour lunch because they eat in community. And then they do that Tai Chi, whatever. I think that's like yoga. I'm not 100% sure, but, for 2 hours every day in the middle of the day. And I was thinking, we don't do anything like that.
Okay, so 2 things I have to tell you. One, there's a great book that Nikki Ubaldini, when she got cancer, they had her read, and she's told me about, and of course I haven't got it read yet, but it's called The Heart Remembers.
Oh.
So I think that's along the same lines of that, that we think, oh, I'm fine, I'm over all that, I don't have to deal with any of that anymore.
Yeah.
But there is some science behind the fact that it may still be under the surface, in some way.
Yep.
Okay, so that's one thing. And then the other thing is, to that part about eating lunch and having community, we had so many amazing people from our region on panels. It was so good.
It was Ohio Valley just represented.
I'm not going to brag or anything, but I'm going to brag. These people, because I'm going to be honest with you, when I first started going up to the region, to build it, nobody went to training.
Yeah.
None of the trainers would even come there because nobody would ever show up.
Yeah.
Our people have been such sponges and learning based, and their lives are so big and their businesses are so big. That's like 7 of our people, or 8, were on the main stage.
Yeah, it was unreal.
I'm like a proud mama. Okay, but I'm even prouder of this. Ryan Gillen tells me that him and Danny Barron and a couple others were going to go to lunch, and they said, hey, let's grab some people.
That was Dylan.
And Dylan. Was Dylan with them too?
Yeah, Dylan and Andrew
Dylan with them, or just
Andrew Pellini. No, they did it. He was telling us that at dinner. They grabbed
Oh, yes. Okay, it was Dylan.
Yes.
Sorry, Dylan. But what was cool about that was the guy that had gone on ChatGPT and asked what was the best real estate company.
Yep.
And they said Keller Williams, and you need to go to their mega camp next week. And he bought a ticket and went. And then what's the God wink? The God wink here is they picked him to go to lunch.
Yes. So crazy. I know.
I'm so proud of them.
So true.
Oh my gosh, that was one of the best stories I got from Mega Camp.
I know, I love it.
Do that more often.
I know, it's so good, so good. But yeah, I thought that was good. I mean, he just had so much stuff. I mean, if you don't follow Dr. Josh Axe, I think it's AXE. Go follow him. He shares the best stuff on Instagram and YouTube. He has a great YouTube. Oh, one more thing. He said your body regenerates 70% of it every 7 years.
Oh yeah, each organ had a different time that it rejuvenates.
Yes,
it's amazing. Which no matter what kind of shape you're in, you can change it. And then he said there's an organ test that you can actually get, which I'm reaching out to my doctor.
Yeah, I wrote that down too.
He didn't tell us the name of the test, but I think everyone should do that. What are the ages of your organs?
Also, I heard him say this. Have you ever done this? He said everyone should go to an acupuncturist and get your PATH, PATH. He said it's something to do with your pulse and your tongue. And then that tells you about your digestive or something. Have you ever heard of that?
No, not. I have gone to acupuncturists before, and what's really weird is the last time I went to an acupuncturist was the same day that I had my first incident with an AFib, which was when your heart starts beating way too fast.
Wait, the day that I remember when that happened, but you had acupuncture that day?
And she told me, I think you're an AFib. And I'm like, I had no symptoms yet. But somehow from my energy or whatever, she could tell. And I didn't even know what she was talking about because I'd never even heard of it.
Maybe maybe from your pulse.
I guess. So that night is when I went into AFib, and I was like, oh my gosh, how did she know this? But anyway, so I did make a note to go back to the acupuncturist because I hadn't been back since, because I'm like, what if that caused my AFib?
I know.
But I do want to go back because I do think there's so much to what they can do.
No, but that makes sense that you were in it when you got there, because I bet she could tell by your pulse. I guarantee that that's what it was. So you probably didn't cause you. You were probably in it when you got to her.
Yeah, I guarantee. It just had not come out in an outward symptom yet. So yes, I totally believe in acupuncturists, and I think I'm going to go have that path. It's called Path.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, so good. I love it. It was so good. Okay, next was Julie Holmes, who wrote the AI book, 101 Plus Tips on AI, which Gary Keller had been reading and had recommended to all of us. And I mean, my whole takeaway from the entire week was the AI stuff. I mean, I feel like I need a full-time person.
I think we could do a whole section when we talk about Mega Camp to do that one. One last thing on Josh. He said everyone should get a True Health panel. And that's a blood panel that'll kind of get them started. Because I had somebody reach out to me yesterday and say, hey, I'm starting to try to figure out my food and all that stuff. What should I do? And so True Health panel would be another great test.
Yep, absolutely.
For people to take. Yeah, so we're kind of going long today. Do we want to save the AI stuff for when we talk about?
Yeah, let's save her. Let's save her because we can do a whole AI one.
Yeah, totally agree. Because a lot of Mega Camp was about AI. So, any last thoughts about anybody that was at the CEO event?
Oh well, we forgot Ryan Leake.
Oh yes, Ryan. He was amazing.
And how could we forget him? Gosh, I think he was actually my favorite.
Yes, he was very good.
Gosh, I had so many.
I love his. Okay, Here's the thing I took away from him that I love. What's it like to be on the other side of me?
Yeah, that was his question number one. Yep.
If you could ask yourself about that with your spouse, with your kids, with everybody, it's so convicting.
Yeah, he said that's the self-awareness question.
Yes, I loved that. That was my favorite takeaway from him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I loved that he gave us 6 questions, which we don't have time to go through all of them, but he said that there at the very beginning, he opened by saying there's levels to this thing. And that's true. And he meant like there's levels to to your different success. And it's like, you've never really, arrived. And I loved when he showed that breadcrumb slide is what he called it, to like where he got to where he was to how he got on that stage with like, remember all the people that he named on there?
I love that.
And I started writing that down, and he said that was the who can I pave the way for question, because so many people paved the way for you. And he said this is the investment question. And so he showed the slide of like how he got from where he was, which is that teacher that gave him that little bit of inspiration all the way until today, or until that day. But I thought I'm going to do that exercise and actually write, I'm sure we all have a few that are on there. I just think that was good.
That was real good. And when I do my talk on You Were Made for More, and I talk about my formula in the form of, don't ask if you got a goal that you have, don't ask what do I need to do, ask who's already done it.
Yep.
I can go back and there's places where I can show you every opportunity that we were given in life.
Yep.
Who that person was, that relationship was that catapulted that into happen. And that's very similar to what he does there.
Yeah, it's so good.
And it reminds you how important relationships are.
Yep.
And where they might lead in life. And so I think we need that reminder always as we're getting more and more online and AI and all those things, that the relationships still matter very much.
Don't you think it's like just pretty much a proximity exercise? I mean, it's who you're in proximity to.
Yeah. Yep. And if you're not in proximity to the people you need to be, how do you get in proximity to them?
Yep.
The other question he had was, how can I be intentional? And I always think of John Maxwell when I think about intentional.
Yep.
And the number 3 was, there's something you don't have to do that you did would make a huge difference.
I literally was just getting ready to say that. That was his point under how can I be intentional? And I thought that was so good. There's something that you don't have to do that if you did would make a huge difference. Yes.
Yeah. And then he said, ask people how they're doing twice.
I love that. Yep.
Yeah. Especially if you really want to know, Susan Scott always says in Europe, they don't ask how you're doing because they don't really care.
Yeah.
Here we do it so flippantly because, and then we're like annoyed if they really tell us how they feel.
So true.
Right. So I think especially with the people that you really care about, asking them twice.
Yep.
How are you doing? How are you really doing? Because I think we don't give people time to process and answer the true answer.
Yeah, I agree. I think number 5 was, and I loved this one too, but am I actually enjoying it? Like the fun question, because he said that our level of gratitude determines our level of enjoyment, and your personal growth hinges on your perspective on difficult. And like, are you enjoying things, or do you just feel like you're walking around, mad all the time? I loved when he said, we all know the pre-mad people, like they come in and they're already mad before they even get there.
Yeah. Well, and that tied in with something that I heard Chris Hodges say this morning on his sermon that I watch every morning. I've watched Chris.
I meant to text you, Linda, because they're back doing the 21 days of prayer right now.
I saw that.
I've been doing it in the morning. I've only missed 2, but I did it this morning. It was good.
Yeah. He said that you run out of energy when you're not in your gift zone. Because, so many times people ask us, how do y'all stay motivated?
Yes.
How do you get motivated? How do you get remotivated?
Yep.
And I think we've talked about this before, but I think he kind of said the same thing when he talked about, are you enjoying it? If you're in your gift zone, sorry, I got to sneeze.
Oh no.
If you're in your gift zone, you're going to enjoy it.
Yes. Bless you.
Sorry. Thank you.
Yes, that's so true though. And actually, you know what I just told Adam yesterday? I can't remember what made us start talking about it, but I said the last couple of weeks have reminded me of like when you are energized about something or you're excited about something that you're working on, you wake up in the morning like ready to jump out of bed and get after it. Like I can't wait to get to working on it, versus the times that you aren't doing that, or you're doing something that drains you and you're like, oh, like there really isn't a shift in the energy when you're enjoying it. And I mean, I have been like up, like even twice. Adam was like, you have so much energy this morning. I was like, I know, I got a lot. Like I'm ready to get after it today.
Yeah. Well, I think that how you can handle difficult depends on whether you're doing things that you enjoy or things that are in your gift zone. I can go through so much more difficult if I'm in the area that I feel called, and if I feel like I love what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter that it's difficult. Sure, I'd rather it be easy, but I don't mind the difficult because I enjoy what I'm doing. I'm doing things that are in my unique ability, and so I think that matters too.
Yeah.
If the difficult is super annoying all the time, you might be doing something that's not in your gift zone.
Yeah. Yep. Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was great. I mean, Ryan is one of the most gifted speakers I've ever seen. He has the gift to speak. That is for sure.
Yeah. I can't remember what he said around this, but so you might remember it, and we'll end with this. He talked about talking yourself out of being brave.
Oh yeah. The last question was, what would I do if I knew I couldn't fail?
Yeah. Yeah. I think we do talk so much ourselves out of being brave.
Mm-hmm.
And that, I think that reminds me of something I've heard before, that the thing you're wanting is on the other side of the thing you're not doing.
Yeah.
And the thing you're not doing is probably because you're too scared to do it.
Yep. So true. Yeah. He said, chasing failure took me further than chasing success ever did.
Love that. That's a great one. We'll end on that one. Chasing failure has taken me way farther than chasing success.
Yep.
I love it. I love it. So Dana, we'll talk about next, one of our next episodes, we'll talk about the things that we got from Mega Camp. CEO event was so loaded. I think we got just as many nuggets from that as
yes, we did.
Oh gosh, by the way, thank you for my suckers, but I don't want to open them because I don't want to start eating them because I don't want them to all be gone.
Okay, hold on. Hilarious you said that, because the chips that you brought me, which I'm about to order like a dozen of today, they are the beef tallow.
Yes.
Yeah, yes. Adam Roach freaking ate my entire bag, basically. I got like 4 chips, and I walk in last night. Actually, they were so good. I had them on my nightstand because sometimes I like to have a little snack before I go to bed, and I had them on my nightstand, and he was devouring them, and I'm like, drop the chips right now.
What's funny is Dana and I have this thing where whatever new thing we've been trying, we bring some to the other one.
Yes.
And she brought me suckers that is what John Maxwell uses to get focused. So I'm like, well, if it works for John Maxwell, it'll definitely work for me and Dana. And so this time I brought her a new electrolyte called Morning Ritual that has some
which I
vinegar in it.
Loved.
Lemon, so good.
So good.
And salt. And a protein drink that's a grape flavored. And so if you're tired of like milky, chalky protein drinks, you can do this one. It's a grape flavor, just kind of like you would have a refresher or a Gatorade in the afternoon. And it has 15 grams of protein. And the chips called masa.
Masa, that's right. Yes.
which are cooked in beef tallow. And then, so my suckers are sitting on my desk and I'm like, I don't want to open them and I don't want to share them and I don't want to eat them because they'll be gone and I might lose my focus.
You have to hide them. I think you're going to have to hide them.
I am. And then the Brazil nuts. I've had my 1-a-day Brazil nuts.
Me too. We forgot to say that. But I mean, Dr. Josh Axe actually said that. I mean, he said if you have any sort of a thyroid or like if you're hinging on thyroid levels, just eat 1 Brazil nut a day.
Awesome. So remember, if you have not hit the subscribe button, please go ahead and do that now. And the greatest compliment you can pay Dana and I is 2 things. 1, pass this podcast along to anyone who would enjoy these conversations. And then number 2, give us a review because the reviews help other people who might not know us find us on YouTube. And if you have a challenge, an opportunity, a question, or a guest that you think that would be great that you'd like to hear us have on the podcast, be sure and reach out to us at info@everythinglifeinrealestate.
Be sure to subscribe for more business strategies and tactics to inspire you to live an abundant real estate life. Don't forget to rate and review so we can bring you the best content. Find this and other valuable information at everythinglifeandrealestate.com.